happy Wednesday. I've just been for a trot around the woods and I took my speaker and I just sat there for ages and I had a sneaky little spliff and that's why my eyes are a bit cuckoo now, but it was just so amazing to be sat outside in the middle of such beauty and there was nobody around and it's really hot today, the sun was blazing through and oh gosh, it was just beautiful. And I was wondering to myself why aren't more kids out, and it's obvious, isn't it? It's because technology has taken over, and as humanity we have allowed our symbiotic relationship with nature to deteriorate to the point it's at now where everyone's inside all the time. Watching things on massive tellies, getting their programming on big screen, you know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I've been there before, I had a big TV once, but I've got a tiny one now and I don't even watch it really. So, yeah, I watched a beautiful advert this morning. I think it was an advert to promote a movement, not a product, but I'm not sure because I didn't follow through with it, but I'm going to try and find it and put the link down beneath. It was along the lines I was thinking and it was just really sort of profound for me when I watched it earlier. So, I don't know, I might put some woods footage on the end of this video maybe, I don't know. But I just wanted to update myself really on how I've been feeling. It's been quite an intense week really, not boring at all, you know, in terms of internal feels or states of consciousness or whatever. So Friday that's just gone, I woke up and my back tooth had crumbled and was sat on my tongue, and I woke up after a tricky dream with like a fucking tooth on my tongue and I was like, oh, it was horrendous, and I allowed myself to get, you know, scooped up in some whirlwind of bullshit for way too long, you know, and watery eyes, you know, feeling really sorry for myself, looking to find a dentist, getting all frantic and sort of het up over nothing. And I'd set myself up from the moment I woke up and I had that sort of bad conscious connection and thought from the dream to the tooth to, you know, whatever. And so I knew something else was going to happen, and then later on that day my car blew up, the radiator blew up in my car. So at that point I was like, right, enough's enough, like you're doing this to yourself somehow subconsciously, you're attracting these tests or these sort of whatever. And it coincided with being fully aware that my auric field or my electromagnetic field or my fucking centre, whatever, it was vulnerable and fragile, and so it was compromisable, if you know what I mean. It was easy to sort of enter into, and for me to feel, this is like last week, you know, pretty sort of pretty triggered and sensitive towards things which I wouldn't usually be, you know, just a little bit extra sensitive, like taking on a bit more, and you know, it's all intermingled for me with people pleasing and boundaries, and I've pondered this quite a lot over these last few days, because just knowing that you can change your perception of reality with nothing more than changing a thought is pretty powerful. And when you start practicing it and getting better at it, you really start to feel the energies and understand it. Not to say you don't get trapped and slip back into old programming, or I mean I do, I'm talking to myself as always here, but it's like I'm 33, so if I were to live to 100 or whatever, you know, I've had a third of my life already, but I also have 2/3 to go, and it's felt like a long life of trudging with extra density and negativity and karma in me, and you know, just these deep-seated programs which I feel like I've uprooted. And as grandiose as that sounds, I feel the truth in it on a genetic deep level. like I've spoken about before, but it is a journey that needs everyday conscious thought on. And so I slip back into old programming occasionally, and then I beat myself up, which is more old programming, and then I sort of allow myself to spiral down in density and vibration, and to, you know, be susceptible then for the takings. So that's what had happened. But when the car, you know, blew up, I was like, no, fuck this, I'm not having 3 bad things happen, I'm changing this now. And then something happened that day which perked me up straight away, and the rest of the day followed out like that. And this has happened once this week and once last week as well, and I'd actually filmed a video and I was like a little bit triggered, and I did try and upload it, but it didn't. Usually it takes a while to do. There's always a bit of fuckery. And then I didn't try again, and when I listened back to it, I was like, oh God, because, you know, stop transmitting such negativity, even if it's my truth, you know. And it wasn't even negativity, but it was just like I wasn't centered. So again, I don't want to beat myself up about it, but I've got to start understanding what my soul is trying to do. Sometimes, you know, with these videos, it's like I do so many videos, and quite often they're just for me, like, and I realise that when I'm watching back. When I first awakened and I first started doing these videos, I didn't give a shit because I had no subscribers for a start, but I was just so free and fresh from the awakening, and I was like, you know, when you're in that joyful 5D heightened state, like, constantly, and it's like the veil's being pulled back and you see everything for what it is. And although I'm still there now, it's usually a watered down version, you know, somewhere in between 4D maybe. I know these are just labels and, you know, terms for different states of consciousness, different dimensions, whatever, however we perceive it. But so it's been, again, when I decided to consciously stop this sort of old way of being, which is like sometimes, I don't know, thinking I can get away with too much with humour sometimes, and then like just being like, oh, you know, I'm a bit distasteful, and then at the same time, like, there's part of me now that's like, oh, shut up, you don't really think that. It's like sometimes I swear loads in videos, and I've said this before, or I'll say something that someone might find offensive or whatever, and I'm having to sort of look after myself, so, you know, not allow myself to say something stupid because I'm feeling so free, because I feel like there's a kind of a, for me personally, there's a kind of a responsibility in where I'm trying to lead my life, you know, and recording this for me as part of it, this journey. So anyway, that was a bit of a ramble, and fucking hell, I don't even know what I was going to say. But so these things were triggering me, and then something happened again when I consciously decided to be the player in the game and not just this sort of the puppet, you know, that someone else is controlling. It's relinquishing, is that the word? The control, the sovereignty over the avatar, the experience, the projection of thought and the reflection of reality, you know, the dance of consciousness, the cosmic puzzle, who knows, you know, it's so interesting life, wow. Anyway, so it's been pretty heightened this last week for me. And I'm also going to put a video down below which I found really helpful when I felt pretty triggered. I've not been feeling like that for the last 2 days. It's been really nice, but the most profound thing for me that happens to me all the time, and I'm like, fucking hell, like, when is this going to get better for me? And again, it does, but not prolonged, is that when something floors me and just shifts my consciousness back to the present, the present as a baby would be in the present, you know, for a few minutes or hours even, and just how how incredible that is, and that is doing nothing external. That is going inwards and just sitting and being and experiencing a moment of human life, and we just take it for granted. And I just like, you know, I long. This is my journey. I'm finding the balance within me, so that I can find the peace and the equilibrium, the centre. I just want to find the centre and keep the centre strong. And when it's compromised and weak, it's always to do with fear and old patterns for me, people pleasing, not having strong enough boundaries, and taking on too much external shit instead of looking after myself first. So it's just, to me, I'm always like, God, you know, I'm striving for nothing more than to be present for a prolonged, you know, forever, to be present forever, just to be water, just to flow forever. But there's so many distractions, but, you know, we are in control of the distractions as well. So for me, I've had to pull back off the internet and certain type of consumption of information for now, because I haven't got any room for it, because I have my own mystery and puzzles and, you know, my own... I always feel like I'm decoding my own dreams, so I don't expect it to sort of, you know, resonate or to fit into a certain bracket. I don't think anyone will come up with the answers to anything. But at the same time, it's fun to do, and so I have space of, like, you know, really digging into things and being a bit of a, like, in the head too much, essentially, you know. I don't know where I think I am sometimes, you know, when the kids have gone and I'm just piling through videos and writing notes. And if I saw myself from above doing that, I would be fucking howling, like, what are you doing? What do you think you're going to achieve? So I always have to sort of come back to that. And yeah, things do seem heightened, and what helps me is trying to be in that state of consciousness, which is much more present, but at the same time it's more 5D, more hyperdimensional. And that for me is when I get the feels that, like, you know, if it is Truman Show, then we are the stars of the show, and, you know, what you're going to do with that power of the choice, the free will, the sovereignty, the ability to manifest or manipulate energy, or, you know, what adventures are you going to have in your dream, in your game. And that seems to help me. And then when I'm in that state of mind and triggers come or tests happen, and I think we all have our own, and we all get our own messages from our higher selves through different things as well, and it's very obvious, it's blatantly obvious, and it's like, whoa, you know what, this is crazy shit. And that's when you want to start researching again, but that's when you need to just pull back and just enjoy it and go, wow, like, this life is amazing. Yeah, so I'm going to put a couple of videos down below, like I said. One is from Amanda Flaker, who I really enjoy listening to, and she was talking, it was a few days ago now, it was when I was feeling triggered, actually, and it was some trigger was in the word of her title, so I'll find this video and post it. But she was just saying how, like, for anyone on this journey, or for empaths or anyone into energy work, what we need to be doing at this heightened time when pretty much everyone else is losing their shit and we've already lost our shit and we're just, you know, piecing ourselves back together, is that we do need to be these sort of holding spaces and these, what did she say? I wrote it down there. Masters needed to know how to calm down the collective triggers and tremors. And so she was talking about the value of knowing about the internal world and how the value will change sometime soon, you know. And but you know, the value is in people who can navigate the mysteries of the heart, and I feel like that's what we're all doing. Anybody who's on this journey of self-discovery, I think that's what we're doing, and it's such a beautiful thing, and it's very difficult not to spend your life on the internet when it's just so incredible to witness so many people's awakenings, you know. That's what it is for me. I watch so many different things, and I just love it, and I feel the realness of the sort of consciousness game and the situation that's going on. Sort of, I feel like I see a bigger picture of it, whether it's just a bigger picture for me or if it's how things will play out, who knows. But so I'm just trying to sort of guide myself in the right direction. So her video is amazing, so if anyone's feeling heightened, because it's very fucking heightened, very trippy at the minute, watch the video maybe. And the other thing that I want to put down is a video from a channel, a guy that I've been watching for a few months, and his subscribers are growing quickly like they should be doing, because he's really on the money for me on a lot of things that he says, and he listens to similar things, so you know it makes sense, it's similar thoughts, but just has some really great advice, and he's not afraid to say what he thinks. I think some people could get triggered by what he says, but it's great to look at it from a masculine point of view. Maybe I'll put his down, maybe I won't actually, because I don't want to tempt. Yeah, I won't. Anyway, so the kids have gone. I've had a walk in the woods. It was amazing. We should connect more. We should get out more, especially with our kids, you know. And I took my little girl to the woods this morning as well. I've tripped to the woods twice today. But this morning when I took her, I was having such a good time. And this is like one of those moments where it was like comical for me in the end. But it did knock me a tiny bit. This old woman was walking a dog, and said hi, and we were talking, whatever. I've got sunglasses on. I don't think that would have made a difference. But she said, is this your granddaughter? And I was just like, granddaughter? It's my daughter. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, fucking hell. Like, I'm only 33. You've made me feel shit now. I didn't say shit. I said, you've made me feel awful now. And she said, oh, I've got cataracts. And I was like, oh, yeah. Whatever, but I felt haggard for a little bit after, and then I was like, give over. So another few things that have been heavy for me personally the last couple of days is just to view myself with tenderness and to stop this external illusionary chase of whatever it is. I've been stuck in this paradigm where I'm having to do my soul's mission by tomorrow or next week, or you know, my business needs to be set up by this, that and the other, and it's like I'm way too far ahead of myself. What I do need to do now is to just, you know, chill and just keep shedding and healing, and trying to master this energetic centre, and just to let it emanate out and to affect the people around me in a positive way. And I constantly am reminded that I need no external. I've got everything that I ever wanted and I ever needed right here, and that's the people that I love, and my kids, obviously, and me. Like, I've got my connection to me back. I've re-pieced my soul, and maybe there's a few shards to find and to stick back in, but I'm there. I'm getting there. The cage is unleashed, and I'm like, and I'm stable. I feel like that's like a big thing, you know. Like, I'm not unstable in terms of energy. Unstable sounds like you're going to go out and stab someone, doesn't it? But I mean, you know, I'm not anxious, that's it. I'm not fizzy or anxious or preoccupied too often, and when I am, I catch myself in it, or something floors me, and I get brought back to the present straight off. So, wow, it's just an amazing time to be alive, I think. And I'm just send love out to everybody, and I hope everyone's feeling good. Be tender. That's it. Be tender to yourself.